leave a message after the tone.
You got 7 questions due. Your life is going down the tubes. What do you do when you need advice?
This is where it gets good. Good night.
What am I fighting for?
So turn down the lights, pick up the phone and leave a message for the new clan.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nude Clan After Dark. Let's see, this is a regular episode of After Dark, and then next time we'll have another regular one, I think, and then the book review,
Oh, hold on.
and then the weight loss. No, the book review is the last one of the month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got 22nd, 29th,
So it'd be the 29th is when we do the book.
but we don't normally record on Sunday or Saturdays. So technically, the book is
the
the 20,
22nd. So a week.
The book is due in a week.
23rd, 8 days. Technically. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to
but
fucking happen.
It's
dude.
50 hours, and Cameron does not have the time that Craig and I have.
I'm listening to it at 2 times speed as well.
Yeah.
No, I lied. I had to take it down to 175.
What do you think?
Still
2?
bullshit
Do you think?
fast.
You think 2
It's
weeks?
the only
is
way.
enough? 2
It's the
weeks?
only way I can listen to it as fast as you guys can. It's just like I have to fit 50 hours of listening time in after, you know, in between when I work, and then in between when I want to do other stuff, and in between the games we play for the show. And
Yeah. See, my problem is I've gotten really into a couple podcasts, and I just
Yeah.
listen to those.
yeah,
And it's like, I like listening to podcasts now.
Yeah.
I really do. If they're about interesting things, you
Yeah.
know, I've gotten into it. So, like, I'm like, I like the book and all, but kind of like this other stuff more a little bit. I don't know. I go through phases, Craig. I go through phases, and I can't do that with games. I have to play games for the shows, right?
right.
But with the other stuff, I can totally phase. Except for now, I can't because Craig picks Dick Lord, massive fucking books.
It's going to be the only one that I picked that's that big.
That's
And
because
it's
it
only
is the
because-
only one that's
well,
that big.
No, there's other ones.
It's the biggest book that's ever been made, Craig. So of course,
I mean,
it's
last
the only
time
one.
we fucking had a book club, you picked Shogun, which is just as big.
Shogun is fucking huge. It's true. It's kind of the same thing too. It's the same
I mean,
period.
They do get compared a lot
Yeah.
because it's like Shogun is basically like Japan from a white person's view, and then this is like Japan
From a yellow person's view.
a Japanese person's view.
From a white yet slanty-eyed person's view, because they're still totally white. Sometimes even more so. Like, if you look at, like, Andrew Yang and me, he's whiter than I am. He's just not Caucasian. But, yeah. That's pretty much what the guy reading the book said in the very beginning. Is like, this is the actual Shogun. Kind of. I was like, I really like Shogun too, though. But I could see where it's like, it's a little ridiculous.
I mean, it's I think it's a little bit before Shogun,
Yeah, I think you're right.
but yeah.
It started out really cool. I liked it, and then it's interesting. Your Cameron's probably further than I am now. Doesn't matter
maybe.
though.
Where are you at?
Yeah.
I've got like 52 hours left. So I've
I thought the
listened to
book
like
was like
2
50
hours.
hours.
No, it's more than 50.
Has he become Musashi yet for you?
No,
Yeah,
then
then I'm.
Cam's way further. Than
Yeah.
you.
his buddy and him he just barely got. Yeah.
I have 44 hours and 44 minutes left.
So they just barely left Oko's?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the weird mom that's trying to fuck him
Yeah.
that he's not into at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just happened.
There's
It's kind of funny.
I'll tell you that there's a lot of women in this book that try to fuck Musashi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's starting to get a following of sorts. Yeah.
Yeah, he just needs to live by the creed, man.
Oh, he does.
He tries. Yeah. Mhm.
They're not real people. It's and as a Japanese guy, it should be even easier because they don't value life the same way we do. It's not quite the same.
What are you getting at?
Well, it's just like a different approach to, the value of a human being in some of those older times. Like the whole honor thing is more important than.
Well, I mean, it's
It's weird. It's just different.
the way of the samurai. I mean, it's like the other person is following the same thing. It's not like he's gonna murder some random dude on the street. Just because.
No, yeah. There's not. It's not like it's a moralist. thing.
They're both trying to become the best in a way. And
Yeah.
and so
It's just different. It's not to us it seems like almost savage, but really it's not. It's just like honor based more than anything.
he issues a challenge. If they respond that they want to take it on, then
Yeah, and there's like an
They
idea
die,
that
they
you're not
die.
that like
he
it's
doesn't
not
kill
as
everyone he fights.
yeah, and it's not as
Just
sacred
most.
as it is for us in the West. I don't think, just because like they don't have the same beliefs largely, but it's
What are you talking about here? Because like the West totally did that shit too.
no, I know, but I'm saying
we had dueling up until like 180 years ago.
yeah, but Craig, not very many. The Wild West wasn't really all that fucking wild. Like,
I'm not even talking about the Wild West. I'm like right when our country was born. They still had dueling pistols. That
Yeah, I
whole
know.
shit was the thing. And then they had like they would duel with swords in like England and shit.
I'm saying that like from a religious standpoint,
Everybody did it.
the idea that each person is like the most valuable thing ever isn't really an Eastern idea. It's more of a Western idea. The Eastern, it's not that they don't value life, it's just that they value honor above that. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying it's different.
I would also say that's more of a newer concept.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah. Maybe it's like a World War II
'Cause,
thing.
I would say post-slavery concept
For who?
for the world.
I would say the ideas have existed for a long time. It's just the implementation hasn't been necessarily conveying those ideas very well. But I don't know. Sometimes it takes a while to catch up to the great ideas. But I don't know if they carry those ideas is all I'm saying. It's not that it's bad. It's just that, like there's ideas like the whole thing of like, die in silence because nobody wants to fucking hear you die. And it's like, it's kind of fucked up. But also that was in Shogun, and maybe that's James Clavell's fucking retarded view of them. Who knows? Who knows? I did want to read the other book in the Shogun
it's like it's
thing.
a dishonorable thing if you like make a sound when you're committing harakiri or
Yeah.
But I mean that's only for that.
That's a ritualistic
It's because
thing,
like
though.
you're trying to regain honor because you fucked up.
Exactly, yeah, that's the thing is your
So
honor
you're-
is worth more than your life, and that's not something that we have, really.
Well, I mean it's like because it's not just your honor.
it's the honor of the person you've dishonored as well, yeah.
That and your family.
yeah.
So,
Now we don't...
so
we
if
don't,
you're a fuck up, then you're not just fucking up yourself. You're
Yeah.
fucking over like the person you serve and your family.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have that to that extreme, is all I'm saying. I do wish we would have read the other Shogun book, because I know there's one more after
There's
that.
an entire series.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 books,
Oh.
and like it's not just it goes into other countries. It's
Yeah,
not
see,
just
that I
Japan.
knew. I knew there was other country ones. I didn't know it was all, like, connected, though, like in some weird fictional universe. That's kind of cool. I
don't
like
know
that
if
book.
It's the same character. It might just have like some various connections.
Yeah.
but,
I like
there's
that.
Like a few of them.
We all liked that book quite a bit, right? I thought it was pretty good.
It was a
We
pretty
should
good
have
book.
watched the TV show.
We did.
We watched some of it.
Did we
didn't
not finish it?
No. The first episode is like 2 hours long. It's like a ridiculous
How many
pilot.
episodes? Because I just could have sworn we watched quite a bit of it.
We didn't finish it. I know that. I think I still have it somewhere, though. I think that'd be fun to go
I
back
saw
to.
your box set of it.
Yeah, because it's got what's his name, great Japanese actor.
Yeah. Toshiro Mifune. I think.
Yeah, Mifune, he's awesome. But this is not that. This is the correct version.
You know,
of that.
Toshiro Mifune totally plays Musashi in the Samurai trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which one's that?
Samurai Trilogy.
Yeah, it's just called Samurai.
Yeah, it basically follows the events of the books.
Oh, okay, cool, nice.
Or the book, I guess. It's like his thing, yeah. It's pretty great.
Yeah, I'll have to watch
I have
those.
I have that.
I haven't seen those. I have seen, Sanjuro and Yojimbo. Those are great. But we're not here to talk about that, even though we will be. I think we probably. I don't know. Do you think you can finish it in 2 weeks, Cameron, or do you want to do like a little longer? Because that's a lot.
A little bit longer.
Okay.
Because even listening as fast as I am, I still have 44 hours left.
We'll get to it.
Well, do we want to add like a smaller 7-hour book?
Or
I was
we don't miss
thinking
one?
somewhere around 15 to 20 hours is good. I
Well-
feel like just a little more time, we should be able to complete it.
yeah. What if we did like a book? We like doubled down 1 month with like a couple smaller books to make up for it, or just slowly
Yeah.
like offset it by like a week or two, and then eventually we'll catch up. Because I want to do 12 of them.
But I also like the idea of making sure that our listeners can keep up, the ones that want to.
Yeah. So we don't want to go too hard.
Yeah, so maybe we can increase the time frame for the books that we do to a month and a half.
Yeah, I like the idea of doing 12 of them, but
Yeah.
a year. But if it's not feasible for us, then why would we do it?
Well, it would be feasible if we picked shorter books, but
It would, yeah, but we can't always pick shorter books just to make it easier. It's like there are good books that are long, so we don't want to like limit our ability. So I think that maybe we can do that. We'll have to
it's
see
just
how this
that
goes.
this is a sideshow of a sideshow.
It really is, yeah.
So, I mean, it'd be a lot easier to do large books once a month if that's what we did as a podcast.
Yeah.
If that
yeah.
was our only thing.
Yeah. And
But
then plus, I mean,
this is just again a sideshow of a sideshow, and so
yeah.
we
If
have
it-
to give it an appropriate amount of time.
If it's every month and a half, too, you guys don't have to drop so much on all this high-end alcohol, too. I know you guys are trying to build up your stores, but, I mean, Jesus, you only have so much room for booze in your house.
I only had 3 bottles. I now have 2 bottles.
Especially Craig. Craig, can you even have that in your house?
Yeah.
Do they know that you have it?
No.
Okay, see, there you go. You know what I'm really jealous of?
What?
Dylan's grandparents' basement bar. That thing
Dude.
is fucking sweet.
I thought about that the other day. I was like, I want that.
I don't want any other part of their house but that. I'll just
That is-
buy the bar.
That is the best part.
It's pretty fucking cool.
Is it stocked?
No.
No, but it
He
could
doesn't,
be.
he doesn't have anything on it, but he's got like. Have you not seen it?
I've probably been to Dylan. I've only ever been to that house one time in my life, and that was a long
man,
time ago.
It's a fucking classy looking bar, dude. It's like
Yeah.
all solid, like oak and everything, and it's got like the fucking bar stools, and it's got the.
Are they doing anything with it?
No.
No, it just looks really cool. Yeah, we could take it, put it.
And then it's got like a.
Somewhere.
How old are
and
his
then
grandparents?
there's a
Pretty old.
fireplace like right next to it, and
Yeah,
it's fucking.
it's like a cabin setup almost. It's like your cabin bar.
Yeah, it's basically how they have it set up downstairs because they have.
Is
like,
it just downstairs-
Like
is the downstairs
bulkheads
carpeted?
And stuff down. Yeah, it's carpeted.
I'd rip out the carpet and do hardwood.
Yeah, there's like elks. It's like a lodge almost.
Yeah, you got to do a hardwood floor because a carpeted bar just seems wrong to me.
Yeah, it is. All right, let's see what we have on here, though. We have one question, it appears. Let's see what we got.
Hey, Nude Clan, it's the janitor. I'm calling because it seems like lately everyone seems to have an opinion about who I am and what I should be doing with my life. And I don't know, it's lately, I don't know if it's because it's winter and I'm, kind of dealing with seasonal depression and stuff, but it's like I just kind of want to cut everyone off and like don't want to talk to anyone and just kind of want to do my own thing. Guess I'm wondering, like, have you guys ever been through this where you kind of just have to purge your friend group and cut everyone off? Yeah, just wondering what your experience and how you've dealt with stuff like this. All right, thanks guys. Have a good day. Bye.
Okay, so in between the shows, I talked about both becoming a janitor and how I had cut these guys off by not not reconnecting the new phone that I have. Now, it's not because I'm depressed. It's not, and it's not because I want to cut these guys off. I want to cut off the social media for a little while because it's unhealthy for you, I think.
Yeah. It's totally fine to I mean, if you are feeling depressed, it's not fine to ignore the symptoms, but having a good amount of alone time, is especially depending on your personality type, is good. Just to, just to relax, touch base again, just get ready for, there's nothing wrong with it. I do it all the time.
Yeah, I think my way to do it is doing like a big camping trip or something. Like that's really when I feel like I come back.
But you never do it on your own, though.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not as much of a loner as I could be, which is not a bad thing because humans are, creatures that need community.
Yeah.
You just don't need community all the fucking time, every fucking day.
Yeah, having it. So what I would do is, yes, if you need that alone time, then don't feel bad about doing it. Don't feel bad about, purging out people in your friend group that are not, quite where you want to be. I mean, I have a kind of a small friend group, and I don't mind at all.
Yeah.
Because the friends I do have matter. So, but it's, I don't also scorn opportunities to go out and have fun with a wider range of people because that's fun too. But it's everything, in the quantity that you want and can handle. And when you are depressed, there's a danger, of just, having that depression compounded by being alone. But if you do take that alone time, make sure you try to find ways to make it fulfilling as well, to where you can accomplish stuff and feel the pride / the happiness that comes from accomplishing stuff while you're on your own, while you don't have to have that outside influence. But there's nothing wrong with, taking a week away from people.
Yeah, I mean, it's been nice for me. Like I said, I don't have a phone right now. I mean, I do, but I just load up podcasts and the massive book that we're listening to for our podcast of a podcast onto. And it's kind of nice not having Messenger and everything going off. I don't dislike. It's not that I dislike talking to people. It's just it's kind of nice to be able to just sit back and say, you know what? If someone really needs to get a hold of me, they can get a hold of Alex, and Alex knows my work phone number. And
so stupid.
And then they can get a hold of me if it's an emergency. But it's not an emergency. This isn't an emergency, it's really inconvenient.
You make people want to kill you. Just so you know.
Look, yesterday wasn't
Joe, so we should probably bring
was
on Bob.
ready to push you over the railing in the mall so that you'd land on the children's play area where it's got that plushy floor. And I was like, you know what? If he lives, fine. But if he doesn't, I won't be sad.
I'm pretty sure I would die from that. But
yeah, that's quite a bit of a fall.
That's not really a communication problem.
You should talk to Joe and his.
How is that not a
his
communication
issues of trying to get a hold of you?
Because
sometimes.
Either way,
and he had
I
two
wasn't.
shows he needed to do with you.
Either way, I wasn't going to be able to get there on time.
That doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
Telling us that you can't make it is completely different from us waiting 5 minutes into when we should have been in there. And then you telling us that you couldn't be there.
I called you right at 5. You don't have to be in there at 5. There's There's about 15 minutes of previews every single time.
Yeah,
every time.
Anyways,
when I had Movie Pass, I was on that shit because I had to watch movies right before I went to work, and I had to tally up the exact runtime. If it was Marvel, I was like, all right, do I skip the bullshit after credit scene or do I watch it?
Anyways, back to her question.
To her, yeah.
I kind of do it like this. I kind of have a week where I just kind of keep to myself. I live, I have my own place, so I'm alone, so it's quite nice, actually. Going to a quiet apartment, no one there.
Sleep.
Except for your cat.
Yeah, but my cat's... he's usually a pretty quiet cat. But then I get tired of being alone after a week, and so then I'll have a week of trying to hang out with, do as much as I can. And that's kind of how it goes. It's back and forth. A week where I just don't really particularly hang out with anyone or play games and stuff. I'll do other stuff like, I don't know, whatever I feel like, but just on my own. And then the next week, that's when I'm trying to hang out with friends and do stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, and we have a lot of solitary like habits too, like reading and stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
all very personal. And I used to go through big phases where I would just switch what I was doing. Like I'd play a lot of Call of Duty and a lot of all these games, and then I'd just stop for like 2 weeks and just read.
Yep.
Just kind of be in my room and do my thing, and then I'd go back to that.
It's all about variety. You have to listen to yourself sometimes, and if it's too much effort to to put on a face to go out and hang out with people, then just stay home, relax, charge up, and then just kind of find out what your pattern is.
Yeah, I think I've become way more extroverted over the years.
Yeah, it depends on my energy level.
Like
So-
the thing about extroversion and introversion is like if you feel drained after spending time with a large group of people, then you're an introvert. But I don't really feel that way. There are times where I'm like, man, I've done this a lot, where I was like, I could invite Jake and Titus over, but I was like, do I really want to deal with that? Do I really want to like deal with like a bunch of little kids running around?
No.
A lot of times I don't, and so I don't do it. And it's like I should do it more, but it's also tough because then they're cooped up inside, and Alex is upstairs working, and they can't be that loud because it's fucking freezing outside, and they have to be in here, and they're 6, so they're fucking loud. There's a lot of reasons, but there are times where I'm like, I don't know if I want to deal with like, hosting a guest over for a little while. It's just kind of, it's kind of a lot sometimes, and maybe that's part of that, and so even I have to do that. I think you just have to explain to people, look, I don't want to be there all the time to chat you up or to be chatted up. Like sometimes I just want to be left alone, and I have that sometimes too. Like, and especially if someone sends me like a video or something, I'm like, I'm never gonna watch that. Like, it's just never gonna happen because I'm like, I don't. And James put it perfectly because he says the reason why he doesn't respond to me most of the time because he's a fucking asshole. He says I shouldn't be able to hijack his time by expecting a response from him when I want to ask him something. I was like, that's a real dick answer, but at the same time, it makes sense because it's like I don't owe you a response to you inquiring. If it's something important like, hey, are we going to record tomorrow or can I sleep in? Maybe you should fucking say yes or no.
Yeah,
that's one thing.
See that okay.
So it depends.
There is a you don't need a response and stuff. But if you have a business together that you're planning on doing stuff and he acts that way, then he's no longer a business partner. I wouldn't put up with it. And if I had a friend that acted, I don't owe you a response type of thing when we're just trying to, you're my friend. We have history together. We're going to do stuff. And he just treats it that way, then you're not my friend anymore. I'm sorry. You're now a friend I used to know.
Yeah.
I'm not if that's the way you're gonna treat me, I'm not gonna reach out to you anymore. I'm not gonna want to hang out with you anymore. I'm just gonna let you go. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
But see, I do that all the time too.
Yeah, and I don't reach out to you anymore.
If someone sends me like
Get the fuck out.
like a what's up thing,
Yeah, get a fucking phone, bastard.
I don't respond to it. Like, 'cause
And
those are dead end
now,
conversations.
Now maybe we can start hanging out more outside the show because now we can do golf when it gets warm.
Yeah, I think we should do that.
Do some sporting stuff.
There's a golf course by my place.
There's a golf course right by here too.
Literally, I live right next to a golf course.
Yeah, but
you don't
we
golf.
come down this way
Right
anyway.
next to it.
And
Record.
if you wouldn't buy you won't buy
next
you
to
won't buy golf clubs because you don't golf, so you can't come with us.
He can borrow clubs if he wanted to, but that's why I wanted to go look at clubs because I don't want to get something expensive, but I want to get trash either.
Yeah.
I want to get something that'll make me really decide whether or not I do want to invest anything into the game or not.
Yeah.
I need to fucking practice at golf.
Well, yeah,
I fucking suck.
that's what we would be doing.
I was actually really good when we went to Top Golf last time.
Yeah,
Like, I was really good. And it's not just like because it's Top Golf and it's easy to be good at. I was doing fucking great.
right.
So I was like, man, I want to get back into this because, like,
Yeah, but then again, back to her question is
Yeah,
that's kind of the attitude
you-
I've adopted. It's if you don't have the time for me, I don't have the time for you.
yeah, and that's fair. I I think sometimes when like all you do is send people videos and like
Yeah,
stuff
no,
like
there's
that,
a
then you're
point
just
where
annoying.
yeah,
Or
that's
like
annoying.
or like with my siblings, sometimes they'll be like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's up? Not much." And like, "Oh, well, you know, how's this?" And I'm like, "Oh, cool.
They're just trying to catch up with
How
you.
you doing?" And
Schweiss.
I'm like, "You know, great. I'm fine." You know,
Just trying to catch up with you.
yeah, but it's
Schweiss.
like
They're
such
your
little
family.
talk. It's like
Yeah, that's what they
it's
do.
like elevator talk. I'm like, I don't want to talk about this. Like,
yeah.
it's ridiculous. Or like my dad's girlfriend, like, "Oh, when you gonna call your dad?" I'm like, "When's he gonna call me?" You know, now I don't actually have a phone, so he can't. But like, it's like, you know, it's like I'm not. I can't be the one. I can't be expected to forge a relationship here. Like that was kind of your fucking deal. So you can't get on to me like, "Oh, how come you don't ever talk to your dad anymore?" I was like, "Well, you're talking to me right now. Why isn't he talking to me?" Like, I don't know. I don't have time. Like, fuck. What do you want? What do
Yeah.
you fucking want from
And
me?
So I'm not
Fuck
afraid
you.
of cutting people out of my life when I feel like
When they're toxic or
they're toxic or they
Yeah.
just don't deserve to be there, or if all they do is beg for money or
Yeah, I don't talk
Yeah.
to my parents because of that. My
Yeah.
mom. I don't have any respect, you know. It's
um
so some of those people you have to get rid of, and you have to get rid of them forever. It's not just like while you're depressed, it's they pull you down.
yeah.
And don't be afraid of having
And so recently I've come to realize that, you know, even family, I mean, they're your family and they're blood related, but doesn't mean you have to keep them in your life at all.
Yeah.
You know,
as unfortunate as that is, it's
Yeah.
true, yeah.
you can't use the family ties as something that now you have to interact with them, even though it, you know, destroys your mental state. If you can't stand being around a person, you're more than welcome to cut them out of your life. Just because they're family doesn't mean you have to stand up to that, you know, abuse
Yeah.
whenever, you know, they deem it necessary. So
It's that same idea. It's that I don't owe you my time because you want to
Yeah.
make small talk. I don't have time for that. I don't owe you my time just
well,
because I'm
but
part
then
of your family.
there's another thing where you actually have family who cares about you and just trying to catch up, see where you're at, and then you're
Yeah,
like,
but it's
I don't
like-
have time for small talk.
Yeah, but
and,
it's just so dead end.
Well,
It's
I mean,
like,
what do you expect them to like?
I don't
say?
fucking know. Something
It
more
says
than
if
just
they wanna just-
sup.
Here, just twice. I have a challenge for you. Once a month, I want you to reach out to one of your family members and just call them and talk to them for about 30 minutes and catch up, and then change that family member every month. And then after you do that for a while, I guarantee your relationship will improve with each and every one of them.
It's
and
like,
you
look,
realize what you're missing out
If you
on.
want to know what I'm up to,
I understand
But
with
Schwartz
having.
doesn't care.
I know he
and so he's
doesn't,
not
but
gonna
I
do it.
understand cutting family members out. But when they're not doing anything wrong, they just want to catch up and just see where you're at.
But it's like what's up, and I'm like, oh hey, how's work going? Oh, it's going pretty well. How's it going for you? Oh,
Yeah,
good.
They just want to talk.
Oh,
for a
nice.
second.
That's good. And then
This is people you've grown up with.
Yeah,
This
but
is
like
your
fucking
family. And
5 in, it's like they can't send back cool, and I'm like, yeah, it
I
is.
challenge you.
Like, what?
So if
Cool?
they message you,
Fucking-
just call them and have the conversation over
Jesus
a little
Christ!
bit quicker.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's not any less painful when I call them. Trust me.
No. I challenge
It's
you
potentially worse.
to reach out to your
It's fucking
to a
static.
family member, a different family member every
Fuck.
month. I do it because you might be surprised at the strength of that relationship would be changed, because you are the one trying to initiate it, and then they see that you still care about that a little bit.
And I do.
And
I
then
just don't care
just
to the point where
once
I'm
a
going to
month,
waste.
just treat it like a chore. Once a month, I'm going to talk to so and so for 30 minutes before I go.
Yeah.
And so that person now knows you care, and you've caught up, and you got all that nicety stuff out of the way. And maybe, after a few times, something, else will pop up that you can discuss for a little bit. Like, I'm saying, don't cut your family out because you hate small talk. You only cut out people who are bad for your life. If it's, a friend or a family member you haven't talked to in a long time, don't be afraid to fucking reach out and just see where they're at.
Yeah.
That's just a common human decency thing to do.
Yeah, and I don't not do that.
Okay.
I don't I mean, like, if it's a fucking dude, seriously, there's like, I could show you lines and lines and lines of just.
It's because they don't know what to
uselessness.
say to you.
Yeah,
because you never
just
talk
listen to
them.
my podcast, man.
Jesus Christ!
How many
that's-
hundreds
a
of
podcast
hours
is not a replacement for
Yeah.
friendship. Or
It's a good
That's not-
starter. I mean,
that's not
that's a
that's
one
not a
fucking sided
interaction.
conversation
Yeah,
with you.
exactly.
yeah, but then you know what to talk to me about at the very
God
least.
damn it!
It's like I just fucking do this.
And
for
just
so many
think
hours.
of
Like, what do you
this. Think
want?
of how much more content you'd have to fucking rant about if you did that and reached out once a month.
Like, fuck, I could do it right now. I could pull up fucking endless sup. Hi, hey, hi,
Because
hey, hi.
you don't progress. You don't ask them about their life.
I could-
You don't. You're not interested enough to find out what they're doing.
You're right. I'm not because it's bullshit.
God damn it.
It's all bullshit.
I don't think you truly understand human interaction,
Dude,
at all, Schweiss.
I do, but not
I
with
don't
people that
think
aren't
that you do.
humans. With people who are less. No, I'm kidding. They're not less, but it's just like so boring. It's like
It wouldn't only be
God.
Sup and Haze if, like, you actually progressed a conversation beyond, like, oh, well, work is cool, and then you just kind of, like, don't talk to them until the next time they're like, hey, I wonder what Schweiss is up to. It
just
wouldn't
shows
be
them
like that. That's
so,
exactly what you
Dude.
you have that problem.
Dude, I know-
because you do not try.
I know it seems like everyone has nuance and personality, but I assure you that is not the case. They have some, but I also talk to them some, which is the end. That's where it stops. There's a ceiling, and it is not very high. It's a crawl space, a fucking conversation
Here,
room.
this is what I
a
challenge
crawl
you to do.
space that you probably haven't even explored.
Yeah, because it smells
You
like
fucking-
shit.
You
No, I'm
open
just
up the door.
Try
You
to-
open up the door. It's dark inside, and you're like, I don't want.
Try this. This is really easy, and this works too if you're interested in dating someone and just want to talk to them for a while. Try to find something out about your family member or whomever that they're doing, and then call them up and talk to them about that. Like, hey, are they going to school for this? Or they're doing that? And read into the subject a little bit, and then just call them and talk to them about it, and you'd have an interesting conversation about a separate subject that's just beyond, hey, what's up? What you doing? You already know what they're doing because you looked into it, and now you can talk to them about it, and you can connect over that.
If I could find something, fine. Yeah, if I can find there are family
I'm not
members that are
saying-
Clearly,
doing
you
stuff.
haven't had conversations where you found anything because you don't try again.
I don't.
I
Think
mean,
you quite-
I understand who your family is somewhat, but I don't know. It's still just polite to keep in contact and know what they're doing, and try to have an interesting conversation with them once a month. And it's not that painful. It's 30 minutes.
Yeah, I can try, but I'm telling you, man, I don't think you guys. I think you guys are over. I think your sense of
And this is coming from me with my opinion of my family.
yeah, they're still more interesting. I mean, it's pretty fucking interesting to hate your name and then just change the letters around and like
Yeah.
go with it, or to have the entire plot for brotherly love on your fucking fireplace mantle. That's pretty fucking interesting. It's kooky and crazy and insane, but it's interesting. The only insane person that I have is my cousin who's schizophrenic, and I have no idea where he's at. I could have really interesting conversations with him, probably. I
You
might
could go find him.
might end up getting fucking killed for, not chasing him. Or he could kill someone else for calling out to him. He just hears voices and shit. So yeah, that sucks. These are one of the ones I liked a lot, too, and now he's a crazy person. I think his friends are leeching off of him somewhere, too. I have no idea where he's at. Just can't have a conversation with him because I can't get a hold of him, but maybe I could try, but maybe she should do the same and just try to limit it so that it's like you're involved, but you're involved on your
Yeah, but
on your dime.
she's tried to reach out, and then you
Oh,
just,
is it uninteresting?
Just non-answers. Just non-answers.
Mm.
And then she probably doesn't know how to actually keep a conversation going. So
Maybe. Our caller? Yeah, is that what you're saying?
no, I'm talking about your sister.
Oh, yeah. No, that's terrible.
Oh, did you try to switch it back to the car?
Yeah.
Anyways, there's nothing wrong with trimming your friend group at all. Nothing.
Yeah.
Especially if they're making
Yeah,
you
if you
feel
don't-
depressed.
Yeah, if you don't
Nothing
spend
wrong
too much
taking
time
you
with them
time.
and then they tell you what to do, then
But
yeah, that's not good.
when you are taking you time and the being alone, it seems to compound your depression. That's a dangerous hole to slip into.
Yeah,
So I
that's-
wouldn't just 100% cut everyone off immediately and try to do that. Only try to take some alone time when you're in a healthier frame of mind and you have something to work on to keep you focused. I just wouldn't want you to because being alone can make you depressed, and that can compound your depression.
Yeah, certainly. I don't really ever get depressed, but I mean, I've been sad before, so it's hard for me to really say, but I know that is one of the things you don't want to do, because then you become like a loner and you become almost resentful and like you kind of go crazy, so you don't want to do too much of it. But I think it's fair, and I mean, comes times where you have to look at some of the people that are around you, and it's like, we used to be really good friends, but like I've grown up since then, and some of these people haven't. And sometimes you have to just kind of cut ties,
Yeah.
Like there comes a point where it's like there's so little to talk about because you have such very different lives, because you're taking on all these different things and they're not, that it almost becomes time to kind of disconnect from them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be permanent. It doesn't have to be all the time either. And that's why it's fine to
Also,
take time
another
away.
another way to recharge without necessarily, having to go recluse mode for a while is just change your scenery. Go do something random on your own.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you're still alone, not with not having to hang out with someone that you don't want to, but just go do something different.
Yeah, go on like a nature hike or some shit.
Yeah.
Just something alone that's not super dangerous, and just
And that
go
way you're doing something, but you're also on your own.
ferociously beat off. I mean, these are tactics I've used many times before.
Ferociously beat off.
Something though, there's just things that you can do alone.
It puts lotion on the skin, or it splits the wound again.
Yeah, yeah. Like that's why it's like just go outdoors somewhere, like maybe a trail or something that's in your city or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's not like dangerous, because you don't want to go fucking hiking or camping on your own. That's just stupid. Everyone's seen 48 Hours or whatever the hell it is.
127 hours.
That's way longer than I thought, but yeah, you don't want to end up cutting your fucking arm off. But find something that helps you reset. And for me, it's like a camping trip where I'm away from civilization and all of that shit. It's perfect. I come back and I feel
it's
alive
easy
again.
to listen to people throw suggestions at you, and it's good, but it's really hard to follow through on it. So just because you're listening to it and then you have to put it in action, but then you're just tired, you don't. So if anyone really wants to try something like that and really wants to go do something new and different, tell me what it is, and tweet at me, and then I'll go try to do it too, just so you have someone else who's thinking about it and moving an effort, and that way you feel more compelled to do it.
Yeah, like a sort of sense of solidarity.
Yeah.
Like aloneness, but like with the community kind of thing.
Exactly.
And that's one of the wonders
And
of...
then we can talk about our experiences the
Yeah.
next time we all get online.
That's kind of one of the wonders of social media, is you can be alone, but also part of a group, right?
Well, that's kind of another thing
That's
where
also
depression comes from.
That's also the problem. Yeah. it's a tool and it's a bane and a boon at the same time, right? It's tough.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something you might want to get rid of too, though. Maybe just kind of cut yourself off from that if that's causing problems. I have no idea.
I don't know if it was just because social media wasn't a huge thing like in my formative years. I didn't really have it until late teens and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not as reliant on it as I guess certain generations are. I don't know.
Well,
because technically, we're all millennials.
Yeah,
so,
there's a person that I've read,
and I'm not afraid to just not have social media. Like I haven't posted anything to Facebook in so long.
There's a class of a generation that was made by someone. I can't remember what her name was, but she said it's called iGen, and that's like kind of in between millennials and whatever the fuck is after us. And it's
I think.
Yeah, and the idea is that they are the ones that had iPhones in high school, like all of them, and we didn't have
these
that.
are the rich millennials.
No, it's when iPhones became so popular they were super cheap.
Oh yeah. Well,
So everyone had an iPhone, and we didn't have that. We didn't have that at all. So that's why there's millennials that are safe space piece of shit millennials, and there are millennials that are like in their 30s that aren't pieces of shit because we didn't have this social media wave that was
I
fucking
also
everyone
think
over.
it has something to do with the economic divide as well, where you didn't have it because your parents weren't rich enough to buy it for you. Like, I didn't have a cell phone until I was like 16, and I bought it myself.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I
I
don't
paid
think
for
I
it
had
myself.
an actual cell phone for myself until after high school.
I don't-
I
got one.
I had
'cause
one for
needed
like
to text.
emergencies, but it wasn't.
I
like
needed to
my
text girls
phone.
and stuff, so I needed one.
I don't think it's good for us to have them, and I think that's why there are so many fucked up people.
No, I agree,
It's because of
To a
social
point.
media.
and I agree to a point. Yeah, so it's the formative years in becoming dependent on a constant influx of people's opinions and the way you view yourself
And the
among
likes
them.
and the- yeah.
That, I think, is what's wrong. The cell phone itself is not wrong.
No, the cell phone itself is
So
merely
I'm
a
kind
tool.
of, I don't know, because even now they're trying to come out with, if you don't get your child an iPhone, then you're ostracizing them, socially from the beginning, and that's
Yeah,
just so
well,
much fucking bullshit.
they can
I could see that being a thing, yes, but in my mind, I don't know if I want to get a kid a smartphone until they can buy it on their own.
No, and even then, it's like, here's the thing. It's my responsibility to raise them and to raise them correctly,
Yeah.
and I don't think that helps them at all. I really
No,
don't. I think
no,
it helps.
having a cell phone and being able to text and stuff like that. I think that's fine, but being constantly connected to the internet wherever they go, I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, it's not natural for human beings.
Well, everything that we've made is not natural for human beings. We're forming the world to the way we want it to be. And everything that we do is not natural because it hasn't been done before.
right, but the problem,
And that's what we do.
No, but here's the problem, though: is this is conversations that's being changed. This is the human interaction that's being changed. That's not the same as being able to drive a car instead of walking. That is merely transportation.
Yeah, it's just
this is
it's
how you
us
talk
being
to people.
connected without having to see the person.
This is the change. Yeah, exactly. This is you being able to be a cunt to me online and not having to risk me punching your fucking lights out because you wouldn't say that to me if you saw me face to face because you'd be worried that
And as
maybe
soon as I
this
get
guy's
home-
going to punch his fucking lights out.
As soon as I get home, I'm going to say, "Why don't you see it on my face, you stupid cunt, and see if you come
Yeah.
come running to my place."
Your door just fucking slams open in my own house.
Yeah.
Slams your head against a fucking airbag.
Yeah, you're like, you're in my house now. But you know what I'm saying? Like that's the change. It's the human discussion that has changed, and it's the ability
I
to just
feel
talk down to people and talk to
that
people.
during the formative years, yes, it can be damaging, and kind of waiting until they're older and more mature before I let them purchase their own.
And it's worse.
phone.
It's worse for girls too.
Yeah, it's much worse.
And it's because girls,
and then,
what they
but
do.
see, that's the thing now too. I mean, we're a very social,
yeah,
beings.
and that's why
And
fucking with our
not-
sociability is
Right,
wrong. That's why
right.
it's such a big problem.
Yes, and taking that, the option of that phone, that part of social interaction away from your child, especially if it's a girl, is a great way to ostracize her from the beginning, and that is damaging to a child's psyche.
It can
It's
be,
it's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
So the only way to get around it is to fucking move to some, small town Alaska and have them form normal social relationships with kids, that aren't 100% connected to everything
Yeah.
all the time.
See, that's going to be my rule. Is
Like, I don't want to homeschool a child because that's also another way to ruin their social, connectivity.
Yeah, everyone that's homeschooled is an asshole, and you know
No,
this.
that's not true, 100%.
No.
But
No, they're
just
like
They
different.
just tend to be socially retarded.
They tend to be quasi Asperger, and they're
Quasi.
fucking dicks. Yeah,
Well,
No,
not that
it's
they're
just
dicks.
that-
It's that they don't understand certain.
yeah, I know. So they
Social
seem like they're
cues.
dicks.
I mean, that's kind of a thing for autism and Asperger's. They don't understand social cues, and so I could see where he's pulling that out. But I
Yeah.
mean, you can homeschool a kid and then still send them to things
Yeah,
where they interact with
extracurricular, yeah.
with other kids. Send them to camps, have them go to extracurricular activities, a few times a week. So they're always interacting with kids and other kids their age, and they're always working on stuff. They don't have to be isolated from the outside world
Yeah.
at all. They shouldn't be, actually.
I think
They need to grow up in the world. You can still homeschool and have them know what the world's like at the same time.
Yeah, I think social media is an addiction, and I think it's intentionally an addiction, and I think giving it to our young kids is a stupid idea.
Yeah, and it's not going to change, though. But I agree, it's not going to change. You can change it for your kid, but then you could also be in trouble with people because you're preventing your kid from taking part in what's considered a normal social activity.
Well, that's just too fucking bad.
I know.
If he wants to have it, he can get a job.
Like,
and have
I
it.
seriously think, like, yeah, I'm not going to get a child an iPhone.
Yeah,
There's no
like-
reason for a kid to have constant connection to the internet wherever they go. They have to have the way for them to contact me and their friends. Yeah, a normal cell phone, fine.
Yeah. Yeah, like Jace, this phone here, Alex said Jace can use it for games and stuff.
Yeah.
That was the worst thing she's ever done.
Yeah.
Just tell him that
my
this is
nephew,
yours.
My
It's
nephew is like addicted to games on like phones and
Yeah.
stuff, and he will be like a little brat
Because
unless they give him the
because
phone to play with.
that's
It's like-
because they're
'cause he's,
using it as a way to babysit him
Oh, I
instead of
know.
interacting with him.
Well, there's
when
that.
you use technology as a way to fucking babysit your child, they're going to become brats who need the technology to stay entertained
That and-
instead of spending the time they need with them.
Yeah, that
and interacting with them, so they become a great child.
that
I was raised by
combined.
TV.
That combined, yeah.
Batman.
see what comes to that. No, I'm just kidding. That combined with the fact that these games and these apps are meant to be addicting. They're meant to be appealing.
Yeah.
You can see it with little
I
kids.
mean,
they
yeah.
like are addicted, and I'm like, why did you piss on the seat? He's like, oh, well, he's just in a hurry to get back. Like, oh, he's in a hurry. I'm like, fucking, why are you in a hurry? You shouldn't be in a hurry. You have all day. You go to school for like 3 fucking hours. You sleep for like 8, and then you fuck around for like 12, 14, 16. Like, what's the rush, man? What's the rush? And it's to get back. It's to get back to the fucking show. It's to get back to the YouTube. It's to get back to whatever the fuck is going on. And it's ridiculous. It's like,
Yeah.
But the hard thing is with Chase, it's everything. If it's his Legos, it's the fucking same. It's like no matter what it is, constructive, terrible, like
he just
always
gets
in a
super
hurry.
excited about it.
Yeah, he's just always
well,
in a hurry to
that's
get
cool.
back.
That's cool.
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
about if it was just technology,
It's not
and-
just,
yeah.
yeah.
So that's awesome. He's showing a good interest in a variety of things, and he's feeling so compelled he has to rush back to it, which is
Yeah.
annoying. So you have to teach him how to be mindful of things. But just the fact that he's compelled to get back to something
Yeah, it's good.
that's not technology, that's great.
Like outside stuff, same
so,
thing.
Yeah. So I would encourage more constructive things that he's compelled to go do, and he really wants to get into, and just slowly
Yeah.
decrease his time with other things. And pretty soon he will be craving those other things more.
Yeah, he also knows how to play chess.
Oh, that's
They
fucking
taught
cool.
him how to play.
Yeah. So yeah, you're lucky.
He stalemated me, which I mostly is me stalemating me like a fucking idiot.
'Cause
Because I'm like, ha! And then
No
I was
one,
like, fuck!
you know the rules of chess, but you don't know how to play it.
Yeah, I've done it to myself twice against him. Other than that, I destroy him. But he's actually beaten his mom a few times.
Good. You have a bright kid in your hands.
Yeah,
Just
But,
got to
like,
direct his energy in
yeah,
the correct way.
And I think you have to really limit. I mean, for him, there's no need for social media and a phone.
No.
Like we let him play with the phone sometimes.
As
but-
soon as he starts hanging out a lot with, outside of the house after school, then having a phone on him when he's more responsible to know where it's at is great. But that's just going to be, for me, just a basic-ass cell phone.
yeah, just a flip phone.
And then
to
as soon
call.
as the child wants, like, the whole idea of, paying children allowance for living,
yeah,
bitch, I give you food, I give you a roof, I give you entertainment. If you want something extra,
you do something.
you got to know the
extra.
value of that something extra.
Yeah.
And I'll work with the kid. It's not like I'm gonna make it hard for them. I just want them to value their labor, and value what things mean as far as working for it and paying for it. So I'm not gonna like, oh, you're gonna go make $150+ to buy this. I want them just to know, hey, I put in hard work, I get rewarded,
Yeah,
and encourage that kind of attitude.
yeah, and we've done that pretty well because we've been doing like a family night every week, and we've been doing Nickel City a lot.
Yeah.
because he really likes that place,
Yeah.
and
Well,
we've
it's fun.
kind of taught him to save his points and stuff. Like, because at first he was like, "Oh, I want to burn him, I want to burn him, I want to burn him," and now he's like, "No, we're going to save him for next time."
Nice.
And so he's
So-
learning the value of like,
A really cool thing, since he loves Nickel City, is to get rolls of nickels and have him do things around the house or just do things that he is rewarded in nickels to go use at Nickelcade.
yeah,
And that would be a great way to show him, hey, I put in work. This is what this work is valued at. If I do more, I get more nickels, and I get to spend more time at Nickelcade.
yeah,
And then he can directly associate the amount of work he does
with the amount of play, he gets.
with the amount of play he gets.
Yeah,
I think that's a great thing to do.
yeah. It's too bad they don't actually take nickels anymore.
No.
Or else it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, quarters. We can go to quarters instead.
I mean, they do have a diaper changing station in the bathroom.
yeah.
So,
So clearly he's overaged for that establishment. That was so weird when I was super drunk
a
walking
bar
in there.
has a fucking baby change station
Yeah,
in the
like-
bathroom.
It's like, oh,
It's
so
just probably a
progressive.
leftover from whatever
Yeah.
it was before.
I was like, so progressive. They have one in the male bathroom, and I'm pissing
Yeah.
and like,
You're pissing
moving
on the
from
baby
side to
change
side.
station.
yeah, and I'm like, wait, why is there one in here at all? This is a bar. This is a barcade. This is weird. Yeah, but I mean, I don't think it's good for kids.
No, I
that
don't
age.
either. Yeah.
And you can see because like the like depression rate since social media for kids is like fucking crazy, and that's the cause. A lot of people think that's the cause of like the whole safe space culture and like the being afraid of ideas and like the need to feel safe and to feel included and all that. Like, because with us that's not a thing. Like you and me. But like
Yeah.
earlier or younger millennials, that is a thing, and the argument is that it's because of the social media impact on their life during those formative years that we didn't really have. We had like
Yeah.
MySpace, but mostly what you did is you picked a cool background and you put like a playlist on your page. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't nearly as
Back in the Wild Wild West days, to getting on random old chat rooms and who you don't know who the fuck you're talking to on the other side.
yeah.
Oh man,
There was that.
those dangerous times.
Exactly, yeah. then you could get sodomized for sure, but it's like now it's like almost like an addiction all the time, and that's why I
Yeah.
can kind of see why people get so onto loot boxes and things that
They'll-
are similar to that, because it is kind of like for little kids, they get really into it and like they get like obsessed with these things, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you
Right.
so crazy?
You
about these?
know the problem I have with safe spaces, is that saying that goes, strong men make easy times make weak men make hard times. I feel like if you don't go through those hard times, you don't go through where people are challenging you and your beliefs, you're not growing. If you hide in a safe space where your very notion of existence and what you think is right isn't being challenged, you're not fucking growing. Your ideas
Yeah.
are not being challenged. You're not hearing a opinion contrary to the one that you have and what your group has. That's how things get stagnant. That's how
Yeah.
we stop progressing. And yeah, I can understand like hate speech and stuff like that, but you can't just shield yourself from the way other people are,
Yeah.
or else you'll never know how to handle it, and you never grow as a person. If you're not growing, you're fucking regressing.
Yeah, and it's the whole idea of going to school and learning is to come face to face with ideas that you don't accept
That's the
and
whole
don't like.
point of school, and that's the
So
whole
having
point
these-
of learning is you learn things that challenge the way you used to think things
Yeah.
operate.
So having these is
If you
anti.
never get challenged in any way, you never grow. Even if the challenge is negative, you now have this negative experience you can build off of and form your character. That's how you become who you are.
Yeah.
It's through your experiences. It's through those hard times you've had to go through. And if you've lived a life without any hardship, then you've never really had anything wonderful to experience.
And then you start worrying about things like intersectionality, and you make problems out of you make mountains out of molehills. That's exactly what happens. We need a good plague. Coronavirus may be the thing that saves our civilization. Who knows?
No, it's never going to make it.
It's not going to be
here.
that bad, yeah, because admittedly, our healthcare system isn't the greatest, but we have the greatest care available, and you bet your ass we're going to go into debt to not die.
I think the biggest thing why it's not going to go as far in America, at least where we're at, is just there's too much space.
yeah,
We're not fucking packed into trains. We're not fucking, just in a wall of humanity everywhere we go.
Yeah, that's true.
We're just the population density is much less,
Yeah.
and so the chances of it passing are less, especially if you take precautions to when you go to areas where you do interact with people, like at work.
Yeah, I was thinking the other day about like super flu and stuff in the stand, and I was like, oh man,
Yeah, super flu.
major trips. It's like, that's interesting. I thought of something else that like kind of combined it, but then I forgot what it was. And now it's going nowhere with that. But it is that thing though, and it's like it's so antithetical to the school experience, to college. It's because you're meant to confront ideas that challenge you because you need to be challenged. If you continue in this space of if you block people that you disagree with, or you ban these people or stop talking to people because they think differently than you, all you do is just regress because you no longer even see these ideas
on social media. Yes,
trouble you.
I will decide not to see views of someone I think the views are, uninformed or stupid. Or
Yeah.
it's just some I will actively not want to see that just so I don't get mad. But I'm not trying to isolate my input to only things that fit what I think is right.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes an issue comes up, I myself will have to look at the issue from both sides because you'll never get a news source that'll do it. So I'll go, on the conservative sites, then I'll go on the liberal sites to get into their opinion on the issue, because the best way to when you have an idea, the best way to see where the holes are in that idea is to see what how one side attacks the other side about it.
Yeah.
And then because they're just cherry picking the weak points, and so that's the only way you can get more or less a kind of a centrist idea. But then when you try to go to a forum where they don't try to swing it one way politically or another, they usually tend to lean liberal on those two. Just because that's the nicer viewpoint. But really, to get an unbiased opinion on things, you have to get, the biased opinions on both sides.
Yeah, and there are times where one side is right and the other side is wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, there's times where everyone agrees on something too, so it's a bipartisan thing. Like that happens all the time.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that you have to realize is most people are going to agree. Most of the time. There's just the way you get there that they disagree on. Like, I don't think anyone thinks the important things are different. It's just how do we implement the important things? That's where there's a huge fucking contention line.
Yeah.
So, but I think all of that kind of goes in with the social media thing because people just dogpile and people just blow each other and they blow themselves. They're busy sucking their own dicks and farming the likes and looking at oh, how popular was that? And I've caught myself doing that before too. I was like, oh man, I said something that was true and a bunch of people really liked it, and I was like, oh, that's great. And Craig's like, dude, you're fucking just because you talk to political stuff and a bunch of Trump fans really loved what you said. I was like, yeah, it's true, but Craig's just jealous because his social media presence sucks. And Jake always comes out with these huge one-liners that he does on gaming posts that get thousands of likes, and Craig's just like, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is it's fun to mess around with that, but if you start taking it seriously, then it becomes an addiction. It becomes who liked what I said? Oh my god, how many people are gonna get that?
I agree.
And if you make it so that only people you agree with, you're following and see your stuff, then it's you're just in this echo chamber of stupidity.
And I make that a point whenever I post something anywhere. To where if someone has a view contrary to what I posted or what I had, I don't want to downvote them so people can't see it. I like if you have a contrary view, please just state your viewpoint. I'll discuss it with you because I just feel like drowning out voices you disagree with is so stupid.
Yeah.
You can't. It just ends all form of discussion. It just ends all form of growth.
I mean,
that's what it's all about. It's ideas coming together, fighting it out, and then a better idea emerges because it had to stand people who can see either side of the issue coming together and ironing it out. That's the only way you progress.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like bipartisan decisions are the way things should be done for most everything. It shouldn't be, we're going to wait until this one party gets mostly in power so we can push our ideas through. That's so dumb. Then all that does is make everyone else angry and want to tear it down as soon as their party's in power.
Yeah.
Two-party system, stupid, it's broken.
I know. Then you got people that just want to tear down everything because they're fucking ingrates, but that's beside the point.
God damn it.
It's hard though, because it's all you see, and then it's easy to just say, I don't want to see that person anymore. But I'm like, no, not going to do that. If they were like, I don't know, if they were like a fucking, it's like some kind of fucking white nationalist, I guess, like some alt-right person, I'd probably block them. If they were just spewing like racist hate speech, it's like you can do what you want, but there's no real discussion there because they're not coming from a place of discussion. They're coming from a place of just ideology that's so rigid that I won't look at that.
It's people who are so far up their own political party's ass that they refuse to discuss items. They just spout,
talking points,
their dogma, their talking points, and if you do try to have a conversation with them, they won't because they don't know how to have a conversation about what they believe in.
And you can see those people because they're the people that say that like Joe Rogan's an alt-right guy or like Jordan Peterson's alt-right or even Ben Shapiro's alt-right. It's like, no, they're not. Some of them aren't even right at all. Like, have you listened to fucking Jordan Peterson or like, Joe Rogan? They're not right. They're liberal. They're not lefties like the fucking crazy loons that are out there now, but they agree in like personal liberties, which is the basis of liberalism. Like, it's fucking Joe Rogan. Like, God, he loves Bernie Sanders. He loves like Tulsi Gabbard. He's never voted for a Republican in his life, according to him. Like, he's the alt-right guy. These people are crazy, and it's like you step out of line and you get fucking destroyed, and that's the problem with social media. You try to have like a real conversation.
It's the call-out culture. It's all about.
Yeah,
it's stupid, and it's so easy to influence. Twitter and other social medias because you don't know who you're talking to on the other side. You don't know if it's just a robot that has an algorithm to post this on this comment on posts like that.
Yeah.
So you don't know if you're talking to a real person or a bot.
And since that's happened, since we found out that exists, people will just dismiss other people's opinions as bots.
A bot. Yeah.
Or
the brigade from blah 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 forum is now over here trying to downvote this. It's just God damn it. You can't have a real conversation online about anything.
No, you really can't. It's like I've talked to like Marxists on Twitter before, and it was like mostly civil.
Yeah.
As ridiculous as their idea was, it's like there are some merits, but they're fucking like two. But like, you should be able to have a discussion about like what it is and then a lot of people are like, then one guy was like, oh, well, it's funny that you call me a Marxist because there's this other guy that told me that I wasn't a Marxist. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry you weren't Marxist enough for the other guy, but like, what you're saying is...
maybe for a third episode, the Hog Party, because it's all about anarchy. We can't agree with ourselves even.
Yeah.
Maybe we can start, inviting guests on to defend a political view. We'll bring in... alt-right people. We'll bring in, no, maybe not alt-right. Maybe we'll bring in conservatives, liberals, libertarians, all sorts of people, and then ask their opinion on a current issue, and we'll discuss it and talk about it.
We'll devil's advocate their ass.
Yeah.
I like doing devil's advocate.
I do too. And people oftentimes, when you play devil advocate, they think you get, they think you're, I'm like, no, I actually, so oftentimes when I like an idea, right, I want to do something or I like an idea, I'll tell someone else about it and then have them defend it against me because then I'll try to poke holes in that idea myself. I'm like, no, like I agree with you. I'm just being devil's advocate because I want to tear the idea apart to find its flaws.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that.
Yeah, I do that to Alex a lot, and she thinks I'm being like a total asshole, and I'm like, well, no, I'm just trying to prepare you for... maybe you're not thinking it through all the way. Well, what about this? What about that? I don't disagree with you most of the time. Sometimes I do, but it's like it's helpful because then you have to defend your position.
Actually, I actually kind of like that idea.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Would you want to invite random strangers into your home, or is it all going to be online?
I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. That's something I wanted to do for my show that I was going to do.
Well, let's start it. Let's start doing it. The Hog Party.
Yeah, something interesting.
Yeah.
I want to do something political, but it doesn't have to be like super skewed.
No, that's why I wanted to be a variety of people that we're always bringing on to discuss.
like a Joe Rogan kind of show.
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
wanted to. What I kind of want to
Because
do.
I don't want to only get an opinion of one side. I want to talk to people in our area who have their opinions on issues and see why they feel that way and discuss it with them.
Yeah,
And hopefully
Yeah.
it turns into, normal conversations, and hopefully we have some breakout moments too where we're yelling at each other, because that's always fun.
yeah, that could be pretty good.
And that'll also force us to be more aware of political issues and kind of what our opinion is on it.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
hard to discuss with someone who doesn't know what their opinion is on subjects.
Yeah, it is difficult
Yeah.
when you have someone that just kind of like zones out, that doesn't listen to the show, so we can talk as much shit as we want. Who has left early, by the way, which is fine because we were supposed to be done earlier. But
Yeah. Craig has been gone for a moment, if you guys didn't notice.
yeah, he actually hasn't said anything for quite a while.
I know.
And he's only been gone for a little while. So
No, he's been gone 15 minutes or so now.
Oh, okay. I think that'd be cool, though. That's something I want to do. I don't know, though. I'm torn between like the ideas that I want to do for a personal thing. We could do it as a group thing too, though.
Yeah.
Because we all have different ideas too, and I mean, mine are changing all the time.
Yeah.
It's
Mine
like
too.
when Andrew Yang's like, "Oh, I want to give every American $1,000." I'm like,
Basic universal income.
"What a retard!"
I mean, it's being done in certain, what are those called? Nordic places.
Yeah, I know. It's. I still
Small
think
scale.
I still think it's stupid.
Yeah, I
but
mean, the argument would be people get universal basic income instead of welfare.
yeah, but I don't
welfare
think.
programs go away.
But the hard thing is there are 365 million Americans, and if
Yeah.
you give each one of them
And
$1,000,
so,
you
yeah, the
can't
funding-
tell me that the welfare program is that big.
No. So, yes, it would cost more, but the argument is now that Americans have universal income that they can depend on and know they will always get, then they can take more risks. So they're like, oh, yeah, more spending money, more taxes. More spending money, you're going to take a risk and do something you wouldn't have otherwise because now you can survive a little bit longer without a job.
Yeah, but that's not his point. His point is automation is going to take most jobs in the next little while.
Oh, well, that's
and
not-
$1,000 a month isn't going to do
No.
jack shit.
Yeah, so that's not...
That's
not
what I
the
thought was
thing.
interesting, though. His
Yeah.
point about automation, I think that's true. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's as dire as he thinks it is, but I think it is going to cut a lot of low-skilled jobs away, and it needs to because that's exactly what technology does. That's what it's made to do,
Yeah.
is to automate things that are dumb.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a real big problem when that happens. So I thought his conversation on that was really interesting, and that's one of the things Joe Rogan was like, well, you really think $1,000 a month is going to make a difference to like a long haul trucker that just lost his job where he was making $60K a year? He's like, well, no, but it takes you out of the like complete, deprivation mode. It's like, well, yeah, but you still can't pay your bills.
So the whole idea is now I'm getting $1,000 a month. I can now make it by while I'm, going to school for something technical to switch my job up.
Yeah. I don't think it works, but I think it's an interesting idea, and the reasons behind it are really good to think about.
I'm like, again, I don't have, like, I think the idea is interesting.
It is, yeah, it's very
I don't
interesting.
know whether or not it will work, but I am interested in discussing it and
Yeah.
theorizing about it, because if I had an extra $1,000 in income that or a month to just have,
Yeah.
that'd be fucking fantastic.
The question is, though, is where does it come from?
I mean, it's, again, they take most of the money away from, welfare stuff because now you're just getting money. And that's what you're going to have instead of, Social Security payout when you retire, and instead of welfare options, you're just going to get $1,000 a month. And then they would have to fund it from other places too, raise taxes, of course, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be around the same
No, it's not. It's definitely more.
for UBI.
Yeah, so you have to look at it. How much is being spent on welfare right now?
It's $1,163 billion.
Okay, and then how many Americans are over the age of 18?
I think it's like 365 million or something like that.
365 times 12,000.
Oh yeah, because it'd be 12,000 because the budget's a year. Yeah, that's way more.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like, and that's one of the dumbest talking points ever is like, well, we had all this money to pay for these wars. Why can't we pay for Medicare for all? It's like, guess what? We didn't have money for the wars. You're both wrong. You're both fucking stupid. You can't say that this money you don't have can be used for this other thing that costs money. God, that's not how money works.
I think the way
devalue
that we do budgets need to change. I think
Oh,
there
yeah.
needs to be more oversight, especially when it comes to the military, because so much waste happens there and so much
Government
just
contracting,
disappears.
yep.
And
Alex's dad he was in the Navy for years, and the idea of like, $1,000 toilets and stuff, that's totally real.
Yeah.
They have a government contract, they just get ripped off, and they accept it.
Yeah.
But here's my thing, Cameron. Listen to this. It's the
Should we have something patriotic play in the background?
yeah. It's the Public Servants of America Act.
Okay.
My first bill that I would put into
Public
place.
Servants of America. That's a good name.
And no one gets paid unless there's money in the budget to pay them. If there's a deficit, no one gets paid for their services. You bet your fucking ass there'd be a budget passed.
Okay, so what you're saying is, how every year or so now that the whole government shuts down because a budget hasn't been agreed upon, and just gets like more, it's just more of a nuisance every year.
Yeah.
And it's always the one side blaming the other side.
Yep.
And so that's what you're trying to say.
No, I'm saying that they don't get paid until there's money for them to get paid. So they have to pass a budget that is funded
Yeah.
completely, including their paychecks, without a deficit at all. Or
Okay.
they don't get money.
Yeah, I like that.
When the money stops coming in, they're the first ones to lose it because it's their job to make sure it's coming in
Yeah.
adequately.
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it would stop building our debt.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go even hardcore to where you have to pay off the national debt before you get paid.
That would
Which
be
is
fucking
impossible.
crazy. Yeah.
But, yeah.
We can start paying it back slowly, but
I saw a random YouTube video of a guy who said it was every American's duty to pay off the national debt. That
fuck
every
that.
American needs to write a $14,000 check to pay off our current debt. And then it's our response. I'm writing my check right now. And then, good job.
the debt clock little online thing just kind of jumps down for half a second.
No,
and it just
it
blasts
doesn't even
back
jump
fast.
down. It doesn't jump.
It just slows a little.
It just, you don't even notice it.
It's
really.
like a mild lag for about half a second,
Yeah.
and then it's like gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I would do is just make it so that as a senator or a House rep, you don't get paid until there's money for you to get paid with.
Yeah, I agree.
If you can't pass a budget that is balanced, then you don't get money.
You know what?
Because your job
Twice,
is to...
That is an idea of yours that I support 100%. This is a bipartisan bill now being pushed by the Hog Party.
It's either bipartisan,
It's bipartisan
or no
within.
partisan.
It's bipartisan within the Hog Party.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's going to go to the House now because it's the Hog Party first and then the House.
Oh man, no, I'm serious about it. I want to register this as a political party, and when it's time to write down what ideas are, we don't fucking know.
Yeah,
It's just a bunch of this and a bunch of that. We'll tell you when we figure it out.
that's right. That's right. That's how that's how the Libertarian Party is. Honestly,
Yeah, I know.
it's like fuck.
There's just there's a large spectrum in how libertarian you are.
Yeah, it's like
and
you're not.
how fucking libertarian / anarchist you are to the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah,
To how liberal libertarian you are.
yeah. The anarchist ones are crazy.
Yeah.
It's like really most of them are crazy, and that's the thing. You're in a libertarian group when no one agrees on anything. That's like the libertarian pages that I'm on, everyone's always fighting, and it's like this is exactly what it is. Because
Their current brand of libertarianism.
it's not enough.
It's
like
just because libertarianism is a great idea, but it's not a solid idea.
It's not-
There's just so many ways to interpret it, so many ways to implement it in a way you think it would actually solve the problem. It's just not dialed down enough.
Yeah.
And the only reason these other parties, I mean, you see that same divide in conservative and liberal parties, but they just have funding to push their favorite candidates.
Yeah, which sucks because Gary Johnson, dude, they almost had 5% of the vote, and if you get 5%, you're nationally funded. So the Libertarians almost made it last time.
Yeah.
Almost. It was 4%.
Yeah.
If that fucking Evan McMullen didn't fuck around in the last minute, I think they might have actually made it.
Yeah.
Because I think Gary Johnson would have had way more support if it wasn't for that bald cunt in Utah that was like, I'm running by myself in like 6 states, and I'm going to be, a different option for Trump. So if you don't feel right about voting for Trump and you're a Republican, you can vote for me. And a ton of people in Utah did. And I'm like, fuck you, man. Fuck you. We're trying to get to 5% here so we can be like a real big boy party.
Yeah.
Now we're stuck with the Green Party. Like, fuck Jill Stein. Fuck being around in that same group. Like, what is wrong with you people? Fucking Evan McMullen. Fuck. And then, of course, Gary Johnson, stupidly, dumbest thing he's ever said is like, well, he can't win, so why would you waste your vote on him? I'm like, neither can you. That's exactly what the two parties have said about you the whole time.
I hate it. Like, that's the
Fucking
whole reason why
goddamn
we're
it.
in this two-party system anyway. It's
It's because everyone permeates that idea.
it's so fucking
It's like,
stupid.
Johnson, you fuck. That's exactly what everyone says about the Libertarians. Don't say that. Fuck the Aleppo thing. This is the dumbest thing you've ever said. Nobody cares about Aleppo.
That was that Aleppo thing that destroyed him a little
Yeah,
bit. too.
it was. Yeah. Fucking asshole. And now he's not even running. It's
No.
like, and it's over. It's like,
Yeah.
fucking, what are we going to do? Vermin Supreme? Are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, I think Vermine Supreme did win something.
He
Like,
won
what
Massachusetts, I think.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like 10 people that showed up, though. It's like, God damn it, man. That's what I'm registered as, too. I should just go pure independent.
Yeah.
It's basically the same, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Well-
hilarious, though, because the Utah Democratic Party lets me vote in their caucuses, but the fucking Republican Party won't. And I'm like, seriously, guys? Like, almost every third party is a super conservative, fiscally conservative party. It's like, but the Democrats in Utah are like, fuck it, we'll take whatever you can give us.
Yeah.
The Republicans are like, no, you're not pure enough.
Tell us what you guys think of the Hog Party, or if we
Yeah.
could change it, and then we should get some art done of the hog destroying the other symbols.
That's right, yeah. And, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully that helped answer your question. And now you can think about political stuff as well and ideas. Just remember, it's good to have those people around, but there does come a time where you need to kind of take a step back, and sometimes you need to remove them completely if they're just too much.
Right.
But thanks for hanging out, guys, for a long-winded discussion. Until next time, as always. 385-204-3921. Give us your goddamn voicemails. We're out of them. Until next time, guys. We'll see you next time.
Mankind has always been the poison.
Give up on yourselves and give up on the world.
Every puzzle has an answer.
Dumbass. Kick logic out and do the impossible. Remember that.
I'm glad I met you guys. You made me pick up on things I probably would have just gone on ignoring.
Don't believe in yourself. Believe in me. Believe in the commune who believes in you.